Hi folks, welcome back to the Hoard. It's only 73 outside, but boy, it's humid. I'm like soaking wet already here. Anyway, you guys remember the 1970 CL70? Look at this. It grew a seat. I was gonna slow walk this thing. Right, I wasn't in a big hurry to move it along, but what I did is, whenever I have a project going, no matter what the project is, I always in my mind have kind of a running list of what parts do I need. And so I kind of poke around out there on eBay a little bit, and I also keep an eye on Craigslist, Let It Go, and the other one, whatever it is. So given that, I was cruising Craigslist, and I ran across this seat, and you guys could see it was only $36. I buy it now, $22 shipping. So for less than $60, I mean, I got a beautiful seat here. I don't know what bike they got this off of, but I mean, this is one pretty seat. See, these tabs slip onto here, and right here these bolt on back there. So it's not only a pretty seat, but I mean, it's the correct seat and the whole shooting match. So that goes under the land of good news. And quite honestly, if I get a taillight for it, God, I make it more or less to the halfway point of a perfect bike. I mean, I have a little of the, what do they call this, patina on the outside of the gas tank. But I mean, other than that, really pretty. Well, I was also poking around with this bike just for a laugh. I decided to do two additional things. I wanted to check the spark, and I'll show you that in a second. And really, let me give you a hint. That time it actually sounded like it sparked. I've checked this bike a couple of times, and I didn't see any spark. Did it grow one? I have it turned on, but I didn't install a battery, and a lot of times these things like a battery to spark. No, I'm not seeing one. So, and by the way, as I'm kicking it over, I have this compression gauge in it. And first of all, listen to it when I kick it with the throttle closed. And then listen to it with the throttle open. See how it goes around more. So, it has zero compression. And to me, it appears as if the intake valve is stuck. There are some of you who are going. Oh, and by the way, I already put the oil in the piston trick. So there are those of you who are going to say, "Well, did you really get a good deal?" So far on this bike, I have 150 and another 60. I have about 210 tied up in it. I have an old Honda 65 behind the shed. As a matter of fact, we can walk back there. Hopefully I won't have anything bite me too much between when I get from here to there. Anyway, I have an old Honda 65 that I can steal some parts from. And also, the head on this thing, it's a 70cc Honda horizontal. I'm, you know, betting money positive that a Honda CT70 head would go on that. And I have a few of those floating around, complete and as just parts motors ready to go on whatever I need to smash them on. So when I bought this bike, in my mind I knew that I had a Honda CT70 motor to put on there. Yeah, this is the 65 that I was talking about. You guys could see I'm taking really good care of it. Right, I think there's some poison ivy in here too. I'm seeing 3 leaves. So anyhow, I need to drag this out and see what parts it's gonna donate toward the cause. The back of this shed, when I bought the house, had a bunch of stuff, mostly these guys, underneath an old swimming pool. First a plastic swimming pool, then there was a swimming pool cover on top of it. So it was all fairly well protected. Obviously, a couple of snowstorms and windstorms and everything else later, 20 years, let's say, goes by, and the next thing you know, everything you got that was covered is no longer. That's kind of the bad thing about not having things where you can look right at them, right? If you can't look at them, very easily they could go sideways on you like that did. So anyhow, I do have the parts to smash this thing together. I mean, like this thing could donate the drive chain, right? The chain is in the literal, what is it, number 52 chain. So I got that. The cover over the flywheel and all. If it's not the 70 cover, the CT70 cover, hopefully it's the Honda 65 cover. So I hopefully I got that too. So that kind of completes this side of the engine. I think I have the shifter from the Honda 65. I don't have what covers this thing. Watch your mouse jump out at me. And if I had to guess, this rat's nest probably has something to do with it not sparking. So I'll spend a few minutes at that. See if I can't make it feel better. But anyway, what I did is once again I wanted to show you guys the progress, and I wanted to take this bike a little bit step by step so you guys could see how they go. Musty One did a really good one with the street legal 125, the SL 125, because he showed that sometimes you buy these things and then find out that your transmission is kaputs, and then you tear them all apart, and then you got a stack of gears that you have to do something about. In his case, I think he was seized also, so he redid the head and he was able to get the parts. But the bore was a little shorter, so he actually had trouble with the piston slightly touching one of the valves. I mean, these are the kind of things you kind of run across when you're trying to bring one of these vintage bikes back. So between what you've learned from him and hopefully what you learned from me, you'll have an idea what you should do. Though, should you have one of these, particularly if it's in this condition or better, you should really make sure that you put it someplace safe. And by someplace safe, someplace not near the kids, because I bet you there's probably 1 million people who have a collectible bike downstairs that little Johnny Rocket, whether it's a nephew or one of the kids, or maybe little Maggie Rocket, gets some little tool set somewhere and starts seeing what bolts they could get off and take off and what comes loose and all that, and the next thing you know, they lose something important on you. So once again, someplace safe, someplace covered, to keep the elements, rodents, and and the crazy person with the toolkit away from them, whether it be a young person or an old person. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this video. I want you all to keep your feet down, keep your heads up, and please get out there and enjoy all your days. Bye now, folks.